Hi, this is Dana, and in my 5-minute session from another topic from my Excel 2 course, I've decided to introduce you to is pivot tables. Now, I don't think I can really do pivot tables justice in just 5 minutes, but I just want to introduce you to them and the power of them. All right, so what a pivot table is it's a way to summarize a list of raw transactional data. So you can't automatically already have it grouped in some way. It's just got to be raw transactional data with your column headings across the top and then your data underneath. So you should have a lot of redundancies in your columns, kind of like we do here, that a lot of these sales, each row represents another sale in here, and you can see what region it was in and the salesperson and the product. So just your raw transactional data, and it'll help you answer business questions. So versus me, if I have to create a whole bunch of charts, or I'm creating a slideshow or a slide deck for people, instead of me answering various different questions to say that, okay, in the Southeast, how many video game consoles did I sell? So if I go ahead and I click that, then it's filtered my list, and I can come down here to the bottom where I put on my table feature, my total feature, on the table, and I can see that that's 39 rows of data, and I sold 535 of them, and the grand total was 186,784. All right, so I would answer that question. Then I could say, okay, well, how many did I sell in the Northeast? And I'm doing the exact same thing to get a various different answer. All right, so rather than doing that and then copying and pasting my answer somewhere so I can report on it, a pivot table is how you do that. So let me remove my filter. All right, so I'm back to just my table. I'll do a control home. And let me introduce you to a pivot table. Pivot tables can save you countless hours of work when you're trying to summarize and report on data. So again, you need raw transactional data, not summarized in any way. I'm going to go ahead and click inside my list, and I'm going to come on up to the insert menu and say that I would like to create a pivot table. It's going to pick up that it's creating a pivot table off of this table that I've called sales data. And by default, it wants to put the pivot in a brand new worksheet. I'll go ahead and click OK. And I am now ready to create my first pivot. Now I want to answer those same questions. So I wanted to see my sales by product. So I'm going to make my product my row label. Should list every product just one time. So even though your products are repeating because you sold them, you should see each product just listed one time. So it's already grouped them for us. And then what I want to do is I want to grab the total sales column and make that my value. And it automatically chooses to sum that particular field. Now you could do other functions with that field. So I could count that field. I could average that field from the highest or lowest. I'm going to leave it at summing, and I'll just go ahead and call this sales totals instead of sum of. And I'm going to go ahead and format it as money. All right, so when I click OK, it looks like money. Change the label, looks a little bit better. I can come over here and change this label if I want to. I can call it products, and that's perfectly fine too. All right, now by default, my pivot table is sorted by whatever your row label is, and my row label is sorting with the Bluetooth speaker at the top. But I really would like my top selling product to be at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and just sort that column. All right, so I sold the most laptops in 2016. But I didn't just want to see the laptops. I wanted to see the laptop sales per region. So I'm going to grab the region field and throw it down here to the column. And now if I wanted to, remember we were looking at the video game console. So I'm going to go ahead and choose just that particular product. And I was looking at just the Northeast and the Southeast. And voila, there's a pivot table with those same two numbers. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and remove those filters again, coming up to the data menu, just clearing that and having it come back. All right, now class, the reason that it's called a pivot table is because you can easily pivot your focus. I can grab my region and bring it down here, and maybe that's a little cleaner. It's the exact same data, just presented a different way. I could flip-flop those, and thus we're pivoting our information. Thus the pivot table. All right, the great thing about pivot tables is you can't hurt your numbers. Your numbers are coming from over here, so I love that. So you can play around with pivot tables till you try to perfect them because you're not hurting your data set. Your data set's over here. All right, one last thing I want to show you just with the power of pivot is I've already created some pivots and some charts off of that same list, and I call these top 5 because what I'm showing is the top 5 customers, the top 5 products, and the top 5 sales reps. And this is for all of 2016. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to introduce you to some new features that even if you know pivot tables, maybe you don't know these new ones. In 2010, they introduced slicers. I'm going to have a slicer by region. There we go. And they also inserted, sorry, let me click back in there. They also have timelines. So I'm going to go ahead and have a timeline for my order date. All right, and I'll put these right here. And I got to go back to 2016. That's where my data is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and first of all link these to all of them. So just give me a second to link them to all 3 of my pivots. All right, so I'm linking this slicer and I'm linking the timeline to all 3 of my pivots. Let me widen that column for you a little bit. All right, and what you can do with these slicers and timelines is you can slice and dice your data. And again, let me widen that just a little bit more. All right, so if I choose Southeast, you'll see everything update and everything change because I'm now looking at my top 5 customers, my top 5 products, and my top 5 sales reps in the Southeast in that year. If I don't want that year, I can just choose a particular month. So now you're looking at the top 5 in the Southeast in the month of March, or there's March, April, and May. How cool. If you haven't used pivot tables, please, please, please reach out to me. I'd love to be able to show you the power of these. In addition, if you're pulling data from other sources, you can pull your Power, you can use the Power BI tools, or you can use Power Pivot to grab information that's not stored in Excel, but maybe a database. And so Excel is such a powerful tool, and these are such a wonderful tool. So reach out to me. You can find my number listed at the bottom of this video. Thank you.